Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. When I started sharing my knowledge on AWS, a lot of you people have requested me to create a playlist for DevOps in AWS. So I thought let me create the DevOps playlist. It might help a lot of people. A few of the topics on DevOps that I would be discussing will be very basic, and if you already have a knowledge on the same, please move on to my next upcoming DevOps videos. But for the people who don't have the knowledge or who are very new to this DevOps domain, I think it would be better for them to start with the Linux tutorials first. So I will first start with the Linux tutorials. Once I will complete the Linux tutorials, I will move to the other videos of the DevOps. Now, in this video, I will walk you through all the basic commands as well as some advanced commands in Linux that we need to know and we need to use regularly for our work if we are working on a Linux operating system. So, without wasting much time, let me start uh, with the Linux tutorials. So, I will try to create a small duration video, but for that maybe the videos may span to multiple videos. So I request you to go one by one with all the upcoming videos in Linux to get a better understanding and become a pro on it. Even this is very much needed if we are willing to work in AWS cloud or any other cloud for say. So let me start with the tutorials. Okay, so since we will be learning about the Linux operating system, so it's better to know what is the operating system. Now, an operating system is a software that acts as an interface between computer hardware components and the user. Now, every computer must have at least one operating system to run the other programs. Now, we cannot speak directly with the computers, right? As the computer only understands the binary language, which is like a 0 and 1. So so we need someone's help to convert our request to the binary language. And there comes the operating system. So now to operating system helps us in taking our request and converting into the binary language that the computer hardware components uh, can understand. So now since we need to work on the Linux, now we need the Linux system, right? So let us see how we can provision the Linux systems to get started. Now there are different ways of provisioning the Linux system. First, you can install the Linux operating system directly in your laptop or your desktop. You can install the VMware on Windows and create a VM. You can install the VirtualBox on Windows and create a VM. And the last option is provisioning the Linux on AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. I will walk you through the fourth option. So we'll be provisioning the Linux operating system on the AWS cloud, and we'll proceed with our tutorial on Linux on that. Okay, so I hope everyone has a AWS account already created. If not, please go ahead and create an AWS account. This is very mandatory to proceed with the tutorials. So please create one and come back here to proceed further. Now, if you have the AWS account, so let us sign into the console. So let me go ahead and sign into the console. Let me give my root user email address, click on next. Let me see whether I can take the correct thing or not. Captcha is incorrect, so let me D3H. I think I'm correct at this time. So let me see. Click on submit. Yes. Give me the password. I've enabled the multi-factor authentication in my account, AWS account. So let me go ahead and give the MFA code. Uh, okay. Click on submit. Okay. Now we are inside the AWS management console. So what we'll be doing first, we'll be creating an EC2 instance, which is nothing but the virtual server in the AWS cloud. So we'll be creating Amazon EC2 Linux instance. So let me click on EC2. Okay. So over here you can see two of the instances are already terminated. So let me go ahead and click on launch instance. Amazon Linux is a free trial eligible, so let me select that one. We'll proceed with all the default settings. Let me select t2.micro. The next, let me go ahead with all the default configurations. Click on add storage. Here also let me go ahead with the default configurations. Click on next add tag. Then give the name as Linux server. Click on next security group. Here also please proceed with the default settings and click on review and launch. Okay, and then click on launch. Once you click on launch, you'll get a pop-up where you need to either select an existing key pair or you need to create a new key pair. So let us go ahead and create a new key pair. Now there are two options over here mentioned, like RSA and ED25519. Now ED25519 is the most recommended public key algorithm, and RSA is the most widely used public key algorithm for the SSH key. Now, but compared to ED25519, RSA is a little bit slower and even considered not safe if it is generated with a key smaller than the 2048 bit length. So we'll not go deeper into that. Just remember that these are the algorithms that we need to follow. So I'll be selecting the default one, which is already selected as RSA. Let me give the key pair name. That's Linux key. Okay. Go ahead and click download key pair. Okay. This name it's already there. Linux key latest. Okay. Let me download that. Okay. Then click on launch instances. It will take a little bit of time to get a launch, so let me go click view instances. So you can see that the EC2 instance is still in the pending state, so we need to wait until this instance state gets changed to the running state. Okay. So in the meantime, let me copy the public IP address. Okay, now you see it's in the running state. Okay, now let us see how we can connect to this particular EC2 instance that we have created, Linux instance that we have created using the key pair that we have downloaded. So for that we need a tool uh, to connect to this instance. In one of my video, I have showed how we can use a putty to connect to the Linux instance from the Windows. But over here, I will show you with another tool, that is MOBA Exterm. So let us go ahead and download the MOBA Exterm. Uh, I have already downloaded, but I'll just show you like from where you can download. So go to this search with MOBA Exterm. You'll get two edition. One is home edition, one is a professional edition. Just click on download now of the home edition. Once you click on download now the home edition, you will get two more options, like one home edition, portable edition, and another is the installer edition. So we'll just select the home edition and we'll click on download. Once it is downloaded, let me go here. Once it is downloaded, unzip that, and once you unzip that folder, you will get the exe file. Which so double click on this exe file, and then you'll get a screen like this. Okay, so click on session, click on SSH. Over here, you just go and copy the public IPv4 address and come here, paste this one, click on specify username, give EC2 user, and then click on advanced SSH settings, use private key. Here select the private key that we downloaded, Linux key latest, if you remember. Yeah, so click on here and then click on OK. So here we have logged into the EC2 instance. If you go over here, you see the private IP address is 172.168.184. So we have logged into that Linux instance, and the user is EC2 user. Okay, so now, now next, to understand the file system hierarchy in Linux, I need to go as a root user or the super user. So let me execute this command sudo su minus. Okay, so you can see now I am logged in as a root user. Okay, now if I ls from slash, so these are all the directories that got created. Among this, we'll see the important ones or the ones that we need to check very frequently. Okay, so let me go to this. So slash is the top level directory and is called as the root directory. You can think like a C drive in a Windows. If you compare with the Windows, so slash is like a C drive. Now slash home, it's the home directory for users other than the root. It's like the C documents and settings slash username kind of thing. We have slash root also, but which is not shown in this image. But if you see over here, we have the root folder, also the root directories that got created. So this root is the home directory for the root users. Okay, so it's like a C document settings administrator in Windows. Okay, so now let me type pwd. So over here, if you see, we are right now into the root folder. Okay, slash root. Now let me do cd tester and then again let me do pwd. Now you see we are in the root directory. Okay, basically slash is the root directory, and that is the home directory. Slash root is the home directory of the root user, as I mentioned earlier. Now slash user, by default all the softwares are installed in a slash user directory. It is slash user means unique shareable resources. Okay, it's like a C program files in Windows. Okay, slash bin, it contains command used by all the users. Okay, including the root users. But slash sbin contains the commands used only by the super user or the root user. Okay, so next uh, I will walk you through some of the commands which are very much is in use every day, and when we'll be working as a DevOps professional in any organizations. There are many commands, but I will walk you through the important ones only. Okay, so if you look into this particular slide, I have mentioned like there are three columns. So there are few commands which are very basic. Then there are few commands which we use to view the files. There are other few commands which we use to create, delete file or create or delete the directory. Okay, so these are the commands that I will be uh, executing, and I will show you, walk you through in this particular video. There are many other commands that I will come up into my next video. Okay, so in this particular we'll show you practically like executing the command so that you can have a fair look of its output. Okay, so let me go to my sessions. You can click this to get here. Okay, now so the first command is date. So if I click date, you can see over here it shows the current date and time. Just remember it gives the system time, not the local time. Okay, it's not the local time, it gives the system's time. Okay, the next command is who am I. Who am I? This command displays the username of the current user. Okay, so the current user is the root, right? So it is displaying the username of the current user. Now if you type exit, so suppose I type exit. Okay, and then so I'm right now into the EC2 user. So if I type who am I, you can see over here it's showing EC2 minus user. Okay, now the next command is users. So users, basically initially we logged in as the EC2 user and then escalated the permissions to root, right? So suppose let me go to escalated my permissions to root. Okay, now let me type the users, but still you see it is showing as EC2 user. Why? Because initially we logged in as a EC2 user and then we escalated the permission. So that is the reason it is showing EC2 minus user. Now if I this ID. This it will give the current user along with the group informations and other information. So basically user ID is the root and group ID is also a root. Okay, so the next, so we are done with date, who am I, users and ID. Now uptime. So uptime is used to find out how long the system is active or running. Okay, so it returns a set of values like the current time, what is the current time of the system, and the amount of time the system is in the running state, and how many users, number of users currently logged into. Okay, so the next, who who will tell us as which user we are logged into this system and its IP address. So this is the user we are logged in, EC2 minus user, and this is the IP address of the system. Okay, there is one more command as w. It is very similar to who. It also tells us like who logged into the system, but it gives some other, like how much time it's idle and what is the logging time. There are a lot more information that is provided with w. Okay, now there is one more basic command that is left, is the man. Now what is man? Man command actually display manual of the commands. Now say suppose we don't know like what is the purpose of the command who. So if I write who man who, it gives me the detailed information like what is this command, what is its purpose, and how we can use the command. Okay, so okay, okay. Now let us move to the next column, which is a view files. So the first command is ls. Let me go to here. First pwd. This pwd is nothing but a present working day, so it will tell you in which directory currently you are in. So let me do one thing. First let me create one directory inside this root directory, and then let us create two files. So let me create file 1.txt, file 2.txt. Okay, now if you put ls is nothing but the list command. It shows the full list or the content of your directory. So I'm currently in my root directory. If I execute ls, so it shows me like, okay, I have one directory and there are two files inside this particular directory. Okay, now the next command is cat. So if you see over here, this file 1 and file 2, the size is 0 bytes. Okay, so let us edit these two files and write something over here. I will come to this vi command and everything later point of time, but just to show how cat command works, I need to create edit these two files. So let me write it as Okay, hi, this is file1 .txt, and let me write some thing. Why I am doing this, you'll come to know later point of time. Okay, escape. So I have edited. Now the next command was cat and the file name. So if I go ahead and give cat file1, now you can see it is showing me the display the contents of the file. But if you see, it goes to the last of the file. So if the file is bigger, I'm not able to see the full contents. Okay, so cat command is all well and good for the small files, but if the file is a large, the contents will zoom past and we'll see only the last screen worth of content. Now, to one way to overcome this is by using another command, which is more command. Okay, so the more command displays the contents of the file one screen at a time for larger files. Now, if the contents of the file fit in a single screen, the output will be the same as the cat command. Okay, so let me click more file1.txt. See over here that now just note the text at the end of the output, more 24%. Okay, it tells us that the file is big and we are currently seeing this 20%, 24% of the file, and the cursor will stay at the end of this text. Now we can scroll through the contents of the file using the enter key. So over here you see we're scrolling using the enter key. Okay, one line at a time, and we can scroll through the file page by page also using the space bar. Okay, so this is the end of the file, so we are back over here. Okay, so this more command can be used to view the multiple files. Okay, now there is a less command, less as well. If you come over here, there is a less command. Now with the less, we can read large text files without cluttering our terminal screen. Okay, now we can also search for text and monitor the files in real time with it. Some people prefer using Vim for reading larger text files, but less is faster than Vim because it doesn't read the entire file before starting. And since less is read only, we don't have the risk of accidentally editing the files that we are viewing. So let me see over here. It is also the same thing, like, so if I give spacebar, it will come to the end of the file page by page. Since it's the next page is the last page, so that's why it's coming to an end. Okay, if you queue, it will come out. Okay, now the next command is head. Now the head command will output the first uh, part of the file, that is the first 10 lines of the file. So if I just give head file1.txt, you can see 1 to it will just give me the first 10 lines. Similarly for tail, if I give tail file 1.txt, it will give me the last 10 lines. Okay, over here there's nothing written over here, that's why it's not showing, but if you just count it, it's the last 10 lines. Okay, now say suppose I want to see the first 20 lines instead of the 10 lines. So for that, what we can do, we can give head minus 20 and then the file name. So now it will show you the first 20 lines. Okay. Similarly, for tail also you can do that. Okay. So we are done with these two columns. The next part is create or delete the file or create or delete the directory. Okay. So the first command is touch. As I showed you here, the touch helps us to create an empty file. So we have already created like touch file1 and file2, right? So if I go ls minus l, you see file2, we have created an empty file. That's why it's a 0 byte, right? Shown as a 0. So now this ls minus l, it displays the file in the alphabetically order. Okay, so that's what you see, D is coming first and then F. Okay. Now if we use ls minus l minus t, it will display based on the creation or the modification time. So if you see the file 1 got modified very recently, so that's why it is showing at the very beginning. Okay. Now say suppose ls minus l minus t and minus r, it will reverse the sequence. So over here you see it just reversed the sequence. File dir1 file2 and then file1. Okay, now we can use all this option together, ltr. Okay, now the next command. So when we use the cat file name, so when you used cat file 1.txt, it allows us to open the file, but will you be able to edit it? No, you will not be able to edit it. Okay, there is one command, cat greater than the file name. So suppose file1.txt. It will allows us to create the add contents. Over here you see. So let me write, this is edited by cat greater file1.txt command. Okay, press enter and then Ctrl C. But what it will do, it will overwrite the contents. Okay, let us say that. So cat file 1.txt, see, it has overwrote whatever the content was there inside the file 1. It there was a huge file was there, right? So but now it has only one line. So to overcome this problem, we can use nano or the vi to edit the contents of the file. So if you use nano or the vi, it will not overwrite the contents, rather it will append the contents inside the file. One more is like if you use cat triple and then give file name. Now if I write this is second time edited by cat command, okay, and then Ctrl C. Now if I view this file, see, it is not overwriting, rather it is appending. The same thing we can do using the nano or vi. I will come after this. Okay, now nano is a uh, over here nano. So nano is a simple terminal based text editor. Okay, okay, so if I type nano and give the file name, let me come here and let me write this is edited by nano. Okay, Control X. Yes. Okay, now let us file one. You can see that it got the file contents got added. Okay, the similar way we can use the vi editor. If I say vi and file1.txt and click insert and then start writing the same thing, this is edited by vi, and then click escape colon wq and done. Now view the file name, view the file1.txt. You see this is edited by vi got added to this particular file. Okay, now we have seen that we can create a content and how we can edit the content in the file. Now we'll see how we can create and delete the directory. Okay, so the command for creating the directory is mkdir. So let me create a directory dir2. If you do ls, you see dir2 got created. Okay, now let me do ls minus l. So over here, if you do ls minus l, you can see d at the beginning. Okay, so this d at the beginning states that it is a directory, and if there is a minus at the beginning, then it's a file. So this is the difference how we can find out like which one is the directory, even though it's the different color code is showing, but this is the way we generally see, like, okay, if it's just starting with a d, that means it's a directory. Okay, now we can create a subdirectories also. So let me change the directory to dir2. Okay, and then inside the dir2, let me create a directory dir3, dir4. Let me do ls. You see two directories which is called a subdirectory got created, ls minus l. If I do, these are the two directories that got created. there is one more command actually. Okay, here it's telling command not found. So what we have to do, we have to do yum install tree. Yes. Okay, now if you, it will show you the directory structure. Okay, two directories are there inside it there. Now if I go to pwd, I mean set the root ls. Okay, so here if I click tree, now here see it's showing that okay, in this root folder has a directory dir1 and dir2. dir2 has two more directories, dir3 and dir4. Okay, so this is how we can create the directories. Now the next command we'll be looking as rm. Rm is used to remove the files. Now I have a file 1 and file 2. So let me remove file 2. Okay, remove regular empty file. Yes. Now if I do tree over here, you see file 2 is not being shown here. Okay, now rmdir is the command that we use to remove the empty directory. Now dir3 and dir4 are empty. So if I go to cd dir2 and then rm dir3, now if I do ls, see dir3 is not there. Now let me come back to root folder. Okay, root folder and web3. See now dir2 has only dir4 directory. Okay, now there is one more command, rm -rf. This command is used to remove a directory even if it is not empty. So here directory 2, say suppose I'm trying to remove dir2. It's telling that failed to remove because directory not empty. Now if I use rm -rf and then give dir2, now if you see dir2 got deleted. Okay, so this is what we are trying to see in this video. So I have completed all the basic commands. I have completed the commands to view the files, and then I have walked you through all the commands that we use to create and delete the file, how we can edit the file, and then we saw like how we can create and delete the directory as well. Now in my next video, I will come up with the other advanced commands that we should know in this Linux tutorial. So if you like my video, please do subscribe and share the video as much as you can. Okay, thank you.